What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Lob It Up Podcast with your hosts, Tobias, Chris, and Siavash. Boys, how was your week? How was the All-Star festivities? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What did you love? What was your takeaways? Let's hear it.
I mean, again, going into the All-Star, wasn't super excited about it. Wasn't overly eager to watch it. I checked out like a few minutes here and there. And then for the rest, mainly just caught the highlights like online. So,
I'm here to disagree with Chris, man. We were not excited, but they put out a show. That 3-point contest and the actual main event with the All-Star game, it was fucking exciting.
Yeah. I think the 3-point contest was definitely the highlight. Shout out to Mike Connolly surprising everybody and being in the final two. The dunk contest for me was very anticlimactic. I was pretty rattled that Cassius Stanley got a 44 off the hop. Had probably one of the best dunks in that contest. You know, putting it between his jumping leg. I forget who talked about it afterwards, but he's an NBA player, and they were saying like it's not easy to go through the leg that you actually lift off on. He doesn't think that the judges appreciated that. I would even say the skills competition was more, fun to watch than the actual dunk contest, which sucks.
Let's not move too quick. Let's give him a little bit of credit because the actual contestants, I wouldn't say they were the greatest.
No, yeah.
But I think they did a great job with the judges.
Okay.
I think every year they messed up the judges. They brought up DJ Khaled and Mark Wahlberg one year.
And it's good that they didn't have Dwayne Wade judging again.
Jeez.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Last year they had D Wade in there, and we saw how that went. But this year they had 5 guys that actually won the dunk contest in the past.
Well, and 5 guys that are former Atlanta Hawks players.
Are all 5?
Yeah, so that was the Atlanta Hawks influence because the All-Star game was in Atlanta. And I think if they do that moving forward, that's a really cool idea.
I like that. I only knew 3 of them were. I knew Dominique, Spot, and Jay Smooth. Shout out Jay Smooth, man. That guy, we haven't seen him in like 5 years, and they put him on the on the judges, and I was so happy to see him.
Yeah.
But as you said, man, that was probably one of the worst dunk contests we've seen in years.
Oh, yeah, easily. That was my thing. Always going into any of the All-Star weekend, the dunk competition was like the highlight. Like I kind of enjoyed the
That's what
three.
you want.
Like, the skills was like okay, but like I was there for the dunk competition. That's what I was there for. And
but I think, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was just saying, just because like it wasn't to the caliber that I guess we're all used to. Obviously, things are different this year with everything going on in the world. It was just hard, like kind of just adjusting to that. So,
and that's just what I was going to touch on, Steve. Actually, I think you brought it up last episode, or a couple episodes ago. The impact of there being no fans was huge to, I think, the dunk contest. I think more event than any other. Steph was going to shoot the lights out. It didn't matter. Like he was going to dominate in that contest, whether there was 10 fans or whether there was 10,000 fans. But like having no one in there for the dunk contest to hype up the players, it just kind of ruined the vibe of it. I think, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys watched it live, but I was actually, my friends were doing it like an IG live. Shout out to my guy Jay and Ayo, and they were just kind of rating it as it was happening. And everybody was in there, man. It was just every dunk we were looking at it, like we had mixed opinions. I don't think there was one of them that we said that's a 10. And
No.
Anthony Simmons won it, but his first dunk was basically a mini rim above the actual rim. And he just basically grabbed the ball and dunked it from there.
So here's my theory on maybe not why Anthony Simons won, but like what gave him the edge. Everyone went into the contest saying Cassius Stanley. But also maybe Obi Toppin. He can dunk, he can slam it. People had, we had Anthony Simons out. He didn't even make our top 2. He wasn't in the finals. So I think that actually benefited him because then when he was jumping out of the gym, people were like, oh, okay, this guy can actually dunk. Like this guy actually has hops. So I think that ended up benefiting him in the long run.
I mean, that was me even saying, like, when we talked about this last time, I said I didn't even know he can dunk.
Yeah.
But the guy came out, showed out his hops, and, I mean, Cassius Stanley definitely should have won that.
Now, see, the thing is with Cassius, like, his first dunk was really good, but, like, his second, like, he had a hard time trying to collect himself for a second dunk. And I think maybe the poor rating off the first dunk gave him a bit of a step back, and he's like, why did I like it got in his head, you know what I mean? He wasn't able to go out there
Yeah.
and freely dunk, and yeah, his second dunk was ass. It shouldn't have been a good rating at all, so I'm fine with that, but the first dunk should have been a better rating for sure.
Nobody got a 50, did they? Like at all?
No.
Like that competition.
And that's why I love
Like-
the judges were tough. The judges were actual critics. Like there was the closest I think was 49, and Jay Smooth, Judge Smith gave him a 9.
Yeah, and
I
bro,
think it
when
was
you
on
got
Obi Toppin dunk.
when you got Dominique Wilkins on the panel, like that guy's the human highlight reel. Like that's literally his nickname. So yeah, you're gonna have to bring it. Like he's not gonna just toss out tens like Dwayne Wade to Derrick Jones Jr. It's not. It's
But
not
do
that
you
easy.
think more 10s would have been tossed out, and even a 50 would have been tossed out if there was different contestants doing it this year? Like maybe some bigger names.
I think so, because I think the I don't want to say talent, but I think the skill set would have been higher, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know, speaking
I
of,
even think just the name,
yeah, exactly.
just the names themselves. Like if Zion did the same dunk that Cassius Stanley did,
Oh,
we might have looked at it different.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of Zion, Zion did look a little nervous in the All-Star game. He had a couple lobs tossed to him, and he kind of bobbled it a few times. It's funny listening to Zion in like post-game interviews, but also like during the game. He's such an awkward kid. Like he's honestly, I'm pretty sure he's an introverted kid. Like I remember when the first season he came in, and you know how teams have like their photo shoots and whatnot. There was a profile or whatever on YouTube that was releasing like videos. They did it for the Raptors, like their Raptors team photos and stuff, and they did it for the Pelicans. And like the Pelicans guys are like, you know, just joking around, razzing each other and whatnot. And like Zion's like so like awkward and whatnot. It's hilarious because it's like, man, you're like a superstar and you're just so shy. But I think he'll come into his own eventually.
Oh yeah.
Before we get to the All-Star game, I wanted to bring us back to the three-point contest. I would like to say something before we go on. I would like to apologize to Mike Conley. Last time we recorded, I sat here and said Mike Conley is the worst name on that list, and he did not belong there, and he came out and showed why he did.
He showed up, bro.
He showed up.
He
That
did.
man, he was draining them. And we were watching Steph, and we all had Steph winning, but he gave Steph a run for his money. And he came down to the last shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
insane.
It would have been crazy to see Mike Conley win because like he wasn't even initially invited to the All-Star game, wasn't initially in that contest. It was only because Devin Booker was injured, and Devin Booker was Devin Booker originally invited, or was he a snub? He was originally a snub, right?
He was a snub.
Yeah,
He was a
so
snub.
so he's a replacement of a replacement. You know what I mean? So like for
Yeah.
him to come in and dominate the 3-point shooting contest and then potentially win, that would have been hilarious.
God.
Nah, man. It was funny, though. The commentary on the three-point contest was hilarious with Reggie Miller constantly saying Steph went in the locker room like Larry Bird saying who's going to come in second.
Yeah.
That level of confidence, man. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's
That
the kind of confidence
commentary
you need
was
to have, though, man. You gotta have that level of confidence in doing some stuff, and even if it's you don't 100% believe it yourself, it's like the second you get your opponents to believe it, that's when it's like you're winning. You're winning.
And I will say my heart got a little warm in the dressing room. He's like, I dedicate this this award to Klay Thompson. That was kind of nice. I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Obviously, that's his boy, and he was injured, and he couldn't be there. But we know Klay Thompson is also an all-star and can definitely push Steph Curry to the limits when it comes to shooting from the arc.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I would love to see Klay Thompson back in the three-point contest next year.
Now we talked a lot. We talked last episode about our dream dunk contestants, like the lineup for dunk contest. And you had to put together a profile of maybe 5 people, let's say 4 or 5 people for your all-time 3-point shooting contest. Who would it be? I can go first to
would
give you
probably-
guys some time to think if you'd like.
I can go first.
Okay, sure.
Last time you went ahead with the dunk contest picks and you stole my picks. So I
Okay,
became
go ahead.
creative. So I'll go first. I'll go with Steph
Okay.
at 1. Probably the greatest shooter we've ever seen. I will go with... Well, take the easy picks. I'm going to go with Ray Allen at 2. I'm going to put Reggie Miller at 3. I think I just took the top 3 3-pointers made of all time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, do positions matter in this?
No.
If it does, I don't mind. I'm just going to put Larry Bird at 4.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm gonna run Larry at the 4, and I'm gonna put Dirk at the 5.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have a proper lineup. If
Okay.
positions don't matter, my lineup.
Sorry.
doesn't change that
You don't
much.
need to create a lineup. I mean, like, if you were to create a 3-point contest of all time. Okay.
I would love to see Larry and Dirk in there, because as I said in the commentary, they were talking about how Larry Bird said that when he won it, he went to the locker room for the 3-point contest that he was about to come in second.
Yeah.
So I love to have that confidence. And Dirk, one of the greatest shooting big men of all time.
Okay. Chris, you want to go?
Yeah. I think, well, obviously, have Steph in there too. And this is from, like, obviously, like, anywhere these people are in their prime, like, type of deal.
All time 3-point
time?
contest shooting. Who do you got? Top 5.
So we'd have Steph. I think it would be kind of... Actually, no, I guess it wouldn't really work because you wouldn't really know him, but it'd be fun to watch. Maybe throw Steve Kerr in there.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
You know? But as because it'd be like, it's not really his coach.
Yeah.
You can't really know him. I still like that dynamic of Clay, so I'd keep Clay in there. Yeah, I liked Dirk. And you know what? Fuck it. Give me Chiclet T.
But he healed.
Buddy.
Just so I can make fun of his chiclets again. Just one
No
more
carrot
time.
talk this episode.
One more
no
time.
carrot
I
talk.
just want to see the chiclets.
Carrot talk is prohibited on this
Don't
on this
worry,
pod.
we're not talking about no damn carrots. See, that's just give you a bit of, okay.
Hey, bro, I'm trying to keep you in check.
They're good for the good eyesight. That's why he's fucking able to knock down those threes.
Great vision. Yeah.
We're both wearing glasses.
Exactly.
For me, again, I gotta agree with all you guys. Steph Curry's got to be in there. I like Klay Thompson.
No Dame?
What's that?
Not Dame Miller?
I just started my list.
He just started his list. He just started.
So I got Steph. I got Klay. I also have KD. So like a huge Warriors influence there. Who else is gonna have? James Harden. See, now I got a very like 2010s esque team. Let's try to throw it back with one person. Damn, I don't know. You guys took some good
Get a
players.
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver? That'd be an
Yeah,
interesting
you're
pick,
fucking-
yeah.
JJ Redick?
JJ.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go for Duke Boy. Duke Boy, JJ
Yeah.
Redick. I like that.
Like it.
That represents.
I love JJ.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think in all those contests, you know, Steph's probably the favorite, but a lot of those guys can push Steph to the edge for sure. Be interesting to see.
100%.
Great lineups. I would love to see all those guys in a 3-point contest
Exactly,
right now.
yeah. Just like a Royal Rumble of 3-point shooting.
This KD takes out Steph and then he gets taken out. You guys saw Jaylen Brown get fouled by the ball rack last night?
I didn't see that, so I missed half it because I was working, but tell me about it.
It was just a small joke because he was jumping so high and he landed on the ball rack and you could see like a piece of the ball rack like breaking on the bottom.
my God.
And everybody was joking how he got fouled by the ball rack.
Oh my god.
To the line, get
It
to the
was
line.
fun. Yeah. Shoot free throws in a 3-point contest.
Yeah, stop the clock. Yeah, that'd be jokes.
Yeah.
All right, and the skills competition is another contest that we didn't really pick. We didn't really pick the winner. We didn't have this guy winning. I think we all kind of got Chris Paul or Luka Doncic or a combo of the two of them. But in fact, two big men went down to the wire, and Nikola Vucevic and Domantas Sabonis, the winner. That was crazy to see, but it's nice to see the skill level that big men have now adopted. And it's funny, who was commentating on that? It was either like Reggie or it was Shaq, or it was one of those boys from TNT, and they were saying like, no, a big man's not supposed to win this contest. It's a guard. A guard's supposed to win. I think it was Kenny Smith actually. He's like, a guard's supposed to
Kenny
win.
Kenny was actually upset.
Yeah.
He was cutting everybody off. He was constantly upset. And Shaq was like, "What do you mean, big man?" He's like, "No, guard should be winning this. I'm about to leave the building."
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny because they're like, Chris Paul once missed a layup doing this, and then as he's going up for the layup, he missed, and they're like, he just missed another layup. How does he do this?
Oh my gosh.
No, you know what, man? My only criticism for that contest was the fact that it was just so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just happened all at once, and literally, I was playing game of 2K as I was watching it, and I looked away for a minute, and it was over. And they try to do the commercial breaks and interviews, but it was really quick.
It's funny because I saw a tweet, and actually, I would kind of like to see this, but they're like, they should have just had Lou Dortz out there, and that is the skills competition. You have to try to score on Lou Dortz. That'd be an interesting piece, though, to try to put a defender in that you have to score on. And Lou Dortz gives you no room to play with. So
Pat Bev.
Yeah,
Put
exactly.
Pat Bev in there.
Pat Bev.
I feel like Pat Bev would walk away with a bloody lip, because people would be like, Pat, it's a fucking all-star competition, and Pat would just right up in your face.
He's like smacking the floor. He's like, let's go.
He's gonna pull up in some black Air Force Ones.
Exactly. Yeah,
God.
exactly. So with all those contests talked about, now we can get into the All-Star game. It's funny, obviously, I've got my group of friends that we talk about sports betting and whatnot, and it was after the first half, going into the third quarter, my one buddy's like, bet the over on Kevin Durant's team. There's no way that Kevin Durant's team's not gonna win this quarter, because they were winning by quarters and whatnot. The NBA needs to keep it entertaining. They're gonna win. I'm like, boys, it's for charity. I understand, it's an entertainment thing, but they're still professional athletes. They're gonna want to win. And Kevin Durant's team did not win a single quarter. So
No.
but it's just interesting. It's just they did not give any room. LeBron's team, we all knew that LeBron's team was going to win. I figured there maybe would have been a quarter that Kevin Durant's team would have pulled out, but I guess not.
Dude, I sent that picture of MJ with the caption saying "fuck them kids," and I was like, LeBron's team right now.
Yeah.
I sent that in the second quarter, and I sent that with a blank face, because I was like, haha, funny. That meme got funnier every quarter.
Yeah.
They were not, dude. I saw Jaylen Brown hitting a corner 3-pointer fadeaway with a man on him. These guys are like, no, man, we're not giving you a fucking quarter. And Kyrie looked pissed.
Yeah, he was.
Kyrie was out there busting his ass.
Yeah,
Bro,
that's one
it was
thing I
the
noticed.
funniest
Kyrie
thing.
was not he was very uptight. Not uptight, but he was very bro, it's an All-Star game. Relax. Just chill out a bit here.
It's probably because they didn't let him burn his sage before the game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The bad juju in the fucking court.
He's like, you guys got negative energy. I don't want
Exactly. There was way too much negative energy.
Yeah.
Bro, that quarter was the second quarter of that All-Star game. Fucking amazing, man. These guys were going back and forth, and I love Team LeBron's energy, man.
Yeah. And
the chemistry between the guys, and CP catching a dunk, Dame and
all
Steph
the
hitting
guards,
half courts. Man, Luke, what's his name? Giannis had the ball in the fast break, and Jokic was behind him, and he dunked it. And Jokic and Braun were mad at him, like, "Why did you not throw a lob at me?"
Yeah, and then Giannis comes from later. He's like, "Man, I'm sorry." And Jokic was like, "Bro, I don't care." But the one thing,
there was a moment.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off. I'll just finish this. There was a moment that happened, and they showed Bradley Beal coming over with the ball, and he was smiling. And that's the only time I saw a Team Durant player smiling the whole game.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Team Durant, I actually never even saw Kevin Durant the whole event, to be honest with you.
Was he there?
Probably not. Probably if he's injured. I don't was AD there?
No. That's a good point.
Yeah, so they're probably if they're
team,
injured. Yeah, but it's probably just following protocol,
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
If one you're not playing, they're probably there's no need for you to be here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're up on a TV screen, or I bet you they're probably rolling around an iPad with his face on it somewhere. Pump up the team.
But
Maybe that's lost.
Yeah, but my favorite thing of the All-Star game was to finally see Steph and LeBron play together. That was so cool, man. I remember a couple years ago, before he signed with LA, there were actual rumors of him signing in Golden State. Bro, and I was like, no, I don't want to see this, because, I had this conversation with my buddies, and I totally agree with them. Most years you look at the NBA and it's there's 4 teams that are going to win the championship. It's probably the easiest championship to win. There is not a lot of competition in comparison to the other leagues, throughout the whole league. But man, as much as I wouldn't want to see it because it would just be so dominant, Steph and LeBron on the same team would be so sick. That would be one of the coolest duos to ever watch.
No, it's true. Yeah, their chemistry just out there, watching the highlights and just the things they were doing, it's crazy. It just make every game just super entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just.
I mean, I love the way it was happening too. Braun just throwing the pass every time he was open, and Steph just kept shooting the half court.
Yeah.
The number of shots from half court that game was probably the most
Nuts.
ever.
Who hit more?
These guys kept shooting.
Steph or Dame?
I'm not sure actually.
Steph.
I think Dame walked away with like 32 points or something like that. But yeah,
Dame hit 8 threes.
They were going
both
back
of them hit 8
and
threes.
forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
I think Steph had like more half court sort of shots from
Yeah.
Like there was even one, he stumbled the ball and Zach LaVine was on him, and he came to the half court, he just grabbed it and turned around and shot it.
I was like, what?
And all the commentators are like, "There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
That's the best defense you could have played."
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it.
He just lobs it up and it's in the net. Like you can't stop it.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. You can't really be mad at those shots either, right? Because like you said, you got that good defense, and man, it is what it is at the end of the day.
There's nothing else you can do at that point.
Yeah. Now, I did want to bring us in on this, but we got right into All-Star, and I like the flow of the All-Star. But I do want to ask you guys a couple trivia questions. I would like to bring in some trivia questions every episode to test our knowledge, to see if maybe the listeners would guess this either. So I got 2 questions here. If you guys ever have questions, feel free to bring them up. And if anyone listening to this ever has any trivia questions for us, feel free to send any one of us a DM or hit up the Lob It Up Podcast Instagram page. So, the first question I have: one of these teams is the only team with a flawless month. Like they haven't lost a single game in NBA history. For 1 month, they never lost a single game. I'll give you 4 options: the Miami Heat, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Atlanta Hawks, or the Boston Celtics. I haven't lost a game in a total month. Flawless.
Should we have buzz noise? Like, I would like to have a buzz noise.
We got a couple seconds to just make a guess.
Couple seconds.
Can I have my buzz noise is going to be a step for MVP. I'm going to pick the Lakers.
Okay.
It's either the Lakers or the other team that went on a long streak there. But I think that's
one of the
my
Lakers
answer
or the
to that.
other teams? Well, it's one of these 4 teams.
Oh,
The other
Seven
team.
teams.
I just said the other team that went on a long streak
okay,
there.
okay.
There's only 2 teams that went on a really long streak in that.
I just feel like the other teams are like too obvious, so I'm just gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks.
Chris, you're right. It's the Atlanta Hawks.
What?
2014, 2015 season. They did.
Let's go.
They did. Yeah.
That is actually.
Seabash
Was it in February?
What?
I was very like as he said it, I'm like nah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to talk.
But it's funny because like I was writing them down. I'm like, I wonder if me saying Heat, Lakers, and Boston is going to make it too obvious that it's Atlanta, and that's your reasoning for picking, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe
I was picking the Lakers and the Heat because they had the longest game streaks in the NBA. I think Heat has 26 and Lakers are at 33.
Yeah, and like when I first read the question, I was like, oh, it's definitely Miami Heat because it says NBA history. I was thinking, Bron's team in Miami. Maybe it was D Wade's team, Alonzo Mourning. But no, yeah, Atlanta Hawks, 2014, 2015.
How does a team that goes 33 that wins 33 games straight doesn't win a perfect month? That's got to be like the weirdest timing ever.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they lose at the start of the month and then they like.
Or they must have won like
the month.
mid-month to like mid-month.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. Who was the first overall pick in the 1996 draft, the year that young Seabash was born? We have Kevin Garnett, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, or Shaquille O'Neal.
I already know the answer. to
I'll
this,
let
so
Chris
I
go
don't know.
first because Seabash went first last time. This guy's looking it up on his phone.
Well, I'm not looking it up. You guys are
This is
crazy.
Chris.
This is I had my phone in my hand. I ain't got nothing. 96?
Yeah.
Man, can I phone a friend? Can I pick my phone back up?
No.
It's $1 million. What is it? The show? The $1 million question.
You
or
want who
whatever?
wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Paul's his dad.
Give me the names again one more time. Sorry, I only remember like Shaq and
Kevin Garnett, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, or Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq, the big diesel. Seabash.
It's my guy. One of my favorite point guards of all time, but considered a shooting guard. Allen Iverson.
It is correct. Allen Iverson.
See, I didn't think he was drafted first overall for some reason. I thought he went like
He was in the same draft as
2-3.
Steve Nash. Yep, he was in the same draft as Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant.
The thing is, they didn't even give me options on the answer. They just told me that it was Allen Iverson. So I'm like trying to think, okay, who would have been drafted around that time? So I have no idea if any of these guys are even in that draft class. I just was like,
yeah, I think Kevin Garnett was a year before. Shaq was 92, and who was the other guy?
92.
Ray Allen was in the same draft.
Okay.
I think. Yeah,
cool.
Might be. I don't know.
So those are the trivia questions. Again, I think we should bring that in each episode. I really like that, kind of test our knowledge here. So yeah, look forward to that in the future.
So far, Steve Nash and I are tied.
Exactly.
1-1.
Yeah.
Peace.
Getting into more recent news. Before we get into Steve Ash's segment, this is kind of tailors onto that. The Warriors are interested in trading for Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo is, one of those players that he's had the opportunity to kind of take hold of one team, be the guy on one team. I don't think he has done that successfully. Obviously, I think he was drafted by OKC or drafted by the Magic, then OKC, then Pacers, then now Rockets. So he'll be going on to his fifth team most likely. They're probably not going to keep him. They're probably going to look to move him. I know he likes Miami. He would like to go to Miami. He's vocalized that. It would be interesting if he does go to Golden State. Chris, what are your thoughts on that? Would you like to see Victor in Golden State playing with Steph?
I don't know. As you were saying that, I'm trying to picture Golden State operating with Oladipo and Steph on the court together. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think? They would maybe have to trade. It's probably one of those forwards in Wiggins or Uber.
And that's what I was wondering. I was like, who are they going to give up for that? Because I'm assuming Houston is just going to be giving him up for picks and players to rebuild right now and stuff, just because they're in shambles basically.
Yeah.
Steve
Ash, what are your opinions on that potential move for Victor Oladipo?
I don't know if it's going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Victor Oladipo is that he's a very ball-dominant guard. We've seen him in systems. He played next to Russell Westbrook. Now he's playing next to John Wall. We can see that he doesn't operate well off the ball. And the season he made an All-Star was when he was a ball-dominant. And he was handling the ball in Pacers in Indiana.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a good idea. I think Steph is the guy there. Of course, they can try to make him a ball handler, but then you look at somebody like Draymond who runs the offense there, then what is he going to do? So,
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I do want to see him go on his own team, and I do want the Warriors to grab somebody else, but I don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a Warrior fan, I would not want that to happen.
Do you think Miami would be a good fit? I mean, they have a guy in Goran Dragic who's their main point guard right now. They got a young gun in Tyler Herro that can play really three positions: point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. And obviously Jimmy's there. Do you think Oladipo would fit well being that ball dominant guard in a Miami Heat system?
It would definitely be a better fit than the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. Jimmy's great on the ball, and he can. And this is the thing I love about Jimmy, man. He's so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
He can play around different positions. He can handle the ball, and he doesn't need the ball at all times to affect the game.
Mm-hmm.
When we watched him in the finals, as you said, Goran Dragic was handling the ball most of the time, and Jimmy was still able to affect the game through offense and defense. And Goran Dragic is another guy that doesn't need the ball as much as we think he does. So that would be more interesting than the Warriors, but I still want him to go to a team that he would be the primary ball handler. Maybe a team that's still kind of rebuilding but needs that one guy. Maybe off the top of the head, I could think of I don't know, maybe somebody like what's the team in the East? Hornets.
Okay.
I would like to see him in the Hornets.
Even with
those guys,
guy like LaMelo Ball there? They have a lot of guards. You got to look at that. They've got Devontae Graham, Terry Rozier, and LaMelo Ball right now.
And I think all those guys are probably going to be able to play off the ball
okay.
as well as anybody else. Mm-hmm. I think LaMelo, we can see him. He shines with the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. But I think he still has a lot to do off the ball as well.
But then if he went to Charlotte, who would you see Charlotte giving up for him?
Probably one of those guards.
Yeah.
Probably not. Guys. Rozier might have the most value right now. He's been playing really good. next to LaMelo, and he's been putting up good numbers. He's been the difference maker in some games.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the bigs, I'm not sure. But
Okay.
the trade packages, again, it's the salaries are probably like the problem in that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much Victor Oladipo's making right now.
How about a potential three-way deal with the Washington Wizards? I don't think Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are there for the remainder of their contracts. I think they're both on 2+1 contracts. Maybe you work a deal, with another team. You move Russell Westbrook, you get Oladipo in that Washington Wizards system. Russell Westbrook goes to whatever that other third team is, and the third team gives up some young assets to go to Houston. Is that a potential? I'm just thinking with Washington trying to rebuild. I know Oladipo's not young. He's not old. I think he's probably like 27, 28. He's around there. Maybe even younger, actually. Does that look like a fit?
You said to trade for Westbrook?
Yeah, like in
Westbrook
a three-team trade. Because I don't think Russ is going back to Houston. Like, they're looking to get younger.
Not sure. Again, that's another thing. Like, would Victor Oladipo feel comfortable running the point guard? Because you look at their roster, it's mainly everybody else's position is kind of filled out.
Yeah.
It's between those are two guards that got running now. It's Bradley Beal and Victor Oladipo. So these are again deals that they will be interesting. We would love to see how they would operate, especially with the Wizards, as you're saying, they're not doing as well as we thought they were going to do, and Westbrook is not. Kind of like he's not playing as well as we thought he was going to play next to somebody like Bradley Beal, yeah. But these deals, I'm not sure if they're the one.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, Siavash, bring in your segment. I'm excited for this one, man.
I want to bring us into the segment, but I want to mention something we forgot to talk about.
Sure.
Last episode, we talked about Blake Griffin. Now he's on the Nets.
This is true.
Oh, yeah. See,
What do you guys think?
Well, he did exactly what we said he should do, was take
Yeah.
that free ride to the finals with either Brooklyn or the Lakers, and he chose Brooklyn.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brooklyn's getting scarier and scarier, man. Like seeing Blake like in a Nets uniform, I was like, oh fuck. And like I know he's not Blake Griffin of like 2012, but like it's Blake Griffin still, bro. Like that's a lot of like force with your forwards with him and DJ as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it'll be.
I think it's a good pickup, and I think it's probably the smart pickup for the Nets, especially for him trying to go to the finals. With the Lakers, their team is looking shaky. Nobody knows if Braun can carry them to the finals right now. So the East, he just made a lock in, and it's kind of scary. I agree. I think it's hard to pick any other team right now to go to the finals from the East.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's just about a lock that the Nets are going to the East. I guess the only team that I was like maybe would be Philly, but again I'm giving the heavy edge to Brooklyn. But yeah, it's exciting. And then the West is kind of like there's a lot of options, man. Like I could totally see, like I said a couple episodes ago, the Jazz scare me, and I could see them in the finals. I don't think the Suns, like if the Lakers are fully healthy and the Suns are fully healthy, I don't think that they can compete with the Lakers. Obviously, you can never count out the Lakers and LeBron, even though AD is not going to be back to full health. He will be back by the time, the tournament is around. And then, of course, you get the Clippers as well, chugging along there. So, kind of a toss-up over in the West, but it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see, what potentially the Utah Jazz do. As much as I do love my Clippers and I want to see them make an actual conference finals. Let's forget about even the finals. Make the conference finals. I would be really intrigued to see the Utah Jazz in the finals. I think that would surprise a lot of NBA people.
That'd be interesting to see the Clippers in the conference finals.
Yeah, I don't even need finals. I just need conference finals. I just need to prove that we can get out of the second round. That's all I care about.
One step at a time.
That's all I care about.
One step at a time.
Yeah, baby steps.
Yeah,
It's like the Raptors for the longest time. They could not get over the LeBron hump, right? And eventually LeBron went to the other side. And it's just like you just need to prove that you can get out, and then once you can get out of that purgatory, you can show that you can actually do something with it. So
yeah.
One of the luckiest championships won, but we're not going to talk about that. let's get to the
No
buying or
All-Stars in
selling
in this recent year. But yes, go ahead, see that.
Hey, bro. Let's just get through it. I want to introduce a new segment, selling or buying. I'm going to name you guys some teams. Let me know if they should be selling right now, as in giving their players away, try to get on some younger players, try to get some draft picks for the future, or if they should be buying. They should try to invest their time into now and winning now and getting to the playoffs or the finals, depending on the team. So, cool. With my first team, I got the Indiana Pacers. Right now, they're the 10th seed. They're tied in the wins column with the Bulls and the Hawks in the 11th seed. And their main guys right now is Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, and they got a lot of good role players like TJ McConnell, who just put out a triple-double with steals.
Dougie Buckets, Doug McDermott.
Doug McDermott, one of my least favorite players that played on the Bulls. And somebody like a Jeremy Lamb and Miles Turner. So do you guys think they should be buying or selling right now?
Yeah, I think the Pacers should be buying. I mean, Domantas Sabonis continues to prove how good of a player he is, and still at a young age. I know it was blasphemy that no one took him. I took Jaren Jackson Jr. Such a hot take, but Domantas Sabonis, he is a young kid still. He's a young gun, and he's kind of the leader of this Indiana Pacers team now with Oladipo not there. Brogdon, I'm a huge fan of Malcolm Brogdon. Since he played in Milwaukee, I love his defensive mindset, but he can also contribute on the offensive end. I really would like to see them go out and get, a wing player, a shooting guard, or a small forward. I think that they can be a competitive team in the East. Obviously, you're not knocking out the likes of Philly or the Nets, but I think putting yourself in the position where you can start to win, maybe getting a younger guy, not like a veteran guy, but around that age of Brogdon, between Sabonis and Brogdon, I think it'd be a smart move for them moving forward. So I'd like to see the Pacers buy this year.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think they should be buying. Just doing like some things there just to get some more supporting players. Yeah, for like Sabonis and whatnot. And even if these players aren't like super young or whatever, as long as it gives them that chance just to kind of push a little like better in like their division and even maybe make like the finals, not finals, sorry, but just make the playoffs and stuff like consistently again. So yeah,
I think last year was the 4th year in a row that they were in the playoffs and they got eliminated in the first round. And I think they definitely need somebody to push through. Right now, they're the 10th seed. We thought they were going to be better. Early in the season, they were in top 5 seed. And he said they should pick up somebody between Malcolm Brogdon and Sabonis age.
I like that age, yeah.
Which is crazy. Because, I thought Brogdon was younger, but he's 28 and Sabonis is 24. So, if they get somebody in that age, and I was jokingly going to say Oladipo.
Honestly, it kind of came to my mind. I was like,
right?
If you get that guy back, like, that's a good team, bro. Why isn't he playing Indiana?
Yeah, he should be there.
Yeah.
I actually think if they could, if this guy goes on a trade market and if they can get him, it would be huge. I think they should try to get Bradley Beal if it ever goes on the market.
Whoa.
That would be huge.
Whoa.
But again, you look at the guys they got.
What would you have to give up?
Give up. Yeah. That's a tough part. You would have to give up Sabonis or Brogdon.
Oh, and I wouldn't want to do that, because I would rather have a more like competitive, well-rounded team than one high-end guy, because I think you can sustain that longer. And I don't know what his status is, but let's also keep in mind Karis LeVert, right? He does have that cancerous tumor, but hopefully, knock on wood, he can eventually come back and play. But if you can get a wing player and you have Karis LeVert coming in as your 2.
That's still a young guy. He's still got potential.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't know who. I don't have anybody front in mind, but I see someone on that wing, that shooting guard, small forward position.
And I think the Pacers don't have anything to sell right now. Like, you look at their roster, it's a lot of young players that can still improve into better things. So I think, I don't know if they should be selling right now. But our next team, they had a representative in the All-Star game this past weekend, and he was a starter. The New Orleans Pelicans. They have some young guys in there: Lonzo Ball, Zion, Brandon Ingram. You look at some of the other guys they got: JJ Redick, Eric Bledsoe. He's a point guard now there, and Steven Adams at the center. They got some picks from the Lakers for the Anthony Davis trade, but right now they're 11th seed in the West. And I think they're tied with some other teams in that area. They're tied with the Thunder at 12, and the Grizzlies are at 10 with 16 wins with one more win. So, do you guys think they should be selling or buying? Chris, you want to go ahead first?
I think they should. It's just because I like the three. I like Zion, I like Ball, and I like Ingram. And I don't know if, but I also like Josh Hart too, and I fucking like JJ. I like so it's just like
It's a
I
good
don't
team.
want to say sell because it's like I don't want to see like any of those guys go, because it's you see the potential for like all of that and like what they can be and what they could be, and it's just like I don't know why they're just playing so bad, but I guess yeah, maybe sell, maybe just try and because like what has New Orleans done since the days of like AD and like Rondo and like them, right? They haven't really done like too much.
It's been a tough years for sure. Last time they
Yeah.
were in the playoffs, they beat the Trailblazers. They shut down Damian Lillard and swept them, and they went ahead to lose or win one game against the Warriors before they lost that series as well.
Yeah.
But
They lost to the Warriors.
in second round, last time they were in the playoffs. Yeah.
Steph Curry's Warriors.
Yep, with Kevin Durant.
Pretty sure that
Yep.
was a 73-9 team. Yeah. A
But
lot of people.
right now they got a new coach in Stan Van Gundy as well. Tobias, what do you think? Should we sell him or buying?
You know, you bring up the AD New Orleans Pelicans. That was only a couple years ago. You have to think about their young core. They just got Zion. They just got Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
I'm on the buy train. I think New Orleans Pelicans should buy. You have to remember the play-in tournament as well. A lot of people seem to forget that it's 7 to 10 seed. So if you can lock yourself in one of those seeds, you can compete for a position in the playoffs. They are sitting at 11 right now. I think they should buy. I think they have a young core that they can move forward with. If I was to look at a trade, now hear me out. I think they should go after a point guard. And I think the point guard comes out of Washington. Washington looking to get younger. I would be interested to see if a package would work to get Russell Westbrook to the New Orleans Pelicans. Think about that.
I don't
team.
mind that.
Yeah.
I think that gets a little difficult because you have to. The way the New Orleans have been successful this season is with Zion having the ball in his hand.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that's where it gets difficult when you got somebody like Russell Westbrook there and he really wants to kind of run the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the ball dominant guys, even Brandon Ingram, his best plays comes from the ISO, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that trade. It would be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Just to see them both running the court, Zion and Westbrook, that would be interesting.
And I think you could get it at a reasonably cheap price because of Russell Westbrook's contract. I know that they're trying to shop Lonzo anyways, as it is. They're trying to move him. I've heard rumors of Lonzo to New York. I know that Washington wants to get younger. Lonzo's younger. And then I would have to really look at the stats, but maybe you could run your centers as Jackson Hayes and Juan Hernan Gomez, and maybe pick somebody up and move Steven Adams. You would have to move that contract to make the money work, but I would look at maybe a package with Lonzo and Steven Adams for Russell Westbrook. If you decide to go that way, that you do bring up a good point with Russell being ball dominant. Recently, they've gone to Zion kind of coming down with the ball. But I would like to see them get a point guard. I'd like to see them upgrade, at one of those guard positions for sure. But yeah, I think they should be buying.
I like those trades. The thing with that is I really like Lonzo Ball.
I know, man. I love Lonzo too.
He's so good. Yeah, and he just knows how to move the ball. And
So smart.
if I look at that roster, yeah, he's a very smart player. Would you say LaMelo's playing better than him right now?
Yes.
Would you say right now you would say...
And you know what?
Okay.
It's funny. I was talking in a clubhouse room the other day, and I think if you look at Lonzo's stats, obviously you can attribute this to him just growing and maturing as a player. But I think he's made large leaps in improvements this year. And I think a main reason is because LaMelo Ball's in the league. A lot of people are talking about LaMelo and saying how good he is and stuff like that. And I think he's like, oh shit, like little bro's getting some attention. You know, there's that sibling rivalry. It's like, nah, like I was here first, son. Like sit down, like let me have my time. But Lonzo Ball is still very, very smart. High IQ player, probably one of the best passers in the league. I love watching this kid play. And I think a partnership of him and Zion is perfect. You know, someone to throw you lobs and whatnot. I don't want to see him move on from the New Orleans Pelicans. However, I think it's almost inevitable. I do know that they are looking to move him. But, yeah, I think it'd be interesting if they can, you know, move forward and get a bigger piece to go alongside Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson and maybe make a little bit of a push in the West. You're not going to do anything this year, but I think, you know, you got a young core. You can definitely do some damage in the future. What's your take?
I'm actually going to disagree. I'm going to disagree with you. I think they should be selling right now. You look at it's the Western Conference. As you said, there is a playing tournament between the 7th and the 10th seed, and they're only one win away from the 10th seed. But I think their piece is still young, and they can definitely develop into something better if they sell right now. They got J.J. Redick, Eric Bledsoe, and Steven Adams. I would be looking into moving those guys. Definitely Eric Bledsoe. Out of those three, JJ has probably the highest value right now. As the years go on, his value is going to drop, and we've seen him definitely. His play has dropped the past 2 years as well. I think the way they should go forward with the team, though, keep Lonzo, look for maybe a center that could shoot, or put Zion at the center.
Okay.
And kind of run that lineup as we saw it in the All-Star game last night. So either do that and get shooters around those guys. You would have thought that like J.J. Redick was the perfect piece to be in that system, but he hasn't been working out.
I like him as a leadership piece for sure.
I think so. They definitely need more veterans there. I don't know a lot of veterans on that team right now. A lot of young guys, Jackson Hayes, as you mentioned, so young guy as well. I think they should be selling right now, but we'll see how they do. Last team, they had a lot of promise at the start of the season. They probably have one of the biggest snubs from the All-Star game. Point guard of Trae Young, the Atlanta Hawks. Do you think they should be selling or buying right now? Tobias, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so I actually think the Atlanta Hawks should be selling. I know that there's speculation around John Collins moving. That's a big piece from that system. I think he's still injured, but DeAndre Hunter was doing well at the start of the season. I like him as a young forward. You got a guy in Cam Reddish. I think if you are gonna go ahead and move a guy like John Collins, you can stay younger and get maybe a higher level piece. John Collins is not old. He's in that under 25 category, but maybe they just want to go a different direction. You got Clint Capella. He's still young. It sucks because I've said, and I've known since the start of the season, I think this team is one of the deepest teams in the league. I think they have great forward and great wing depth. However, they just couldn't put it together, which just sucks. So I'm going to say Atlanta Hawks should be selling right now. I just don't know if there's a point, like thinking about the New Orleans Pelicans, I think there's enough pieces on that team that can maybe win you around, get you into the play-in tournament and then potentially win around looking at your matchup. With the Atlanta Hawks, I just don't know if they have anything. Yeah, you have Trae Young, but I don't know if there's enough force there to maybe make a push in the East. So I would sell if I was the Atlanta Hawks.
And they just fired their coach, Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah, kind of in a transitioning stage right now.
Yeah, I think they got Nate McMillan, who was the coach of the Pacers for the past few years right now on that lineup. Chris, what do you think?
I don't really know. Honestly, I don't follow the Hawks too closely. Aside from their major pieces, just even looking at their rosters right now and some the names I'm seeing, it does kind of sound like they are, I guess, maybe heading into a small little overhaul, like Tobias, you're saying, they do seem like they are very a super deep team, and it's it looks on paper they have the pieces to do well, and but they just haven't been performing. So it's does that fall back on them? Does that fall back on to the coaching? Could the coaches just not handle the players, make the right plays, shit like that? But I don't know. Yeah, maybe sell, figure some shit out, and see if they can get a more solid system going. I guess for these guys.
Do you guys think a team can make a turnaround if they got a coaching change in the middle of the season, especially with a young roster that just had a lot of changes this past season? So let's say they bring in a new coach or Nate McMillan starts coaching that team pretty well. Do you think they can turn it around? They're at 16-20 right now. They have teams that are in the playoffs right now. The 6th seed Miami Heat is the 50% at 500 basically.
I say yes. I'm going to bring it into another sport here, but I think you can easily bring that into basketball as well. A couple years ago, the St. Louis Blues in the NHL won the Stanley Cup championship after being the last team, I think, in December. They were in dead last. They fired their coach, and they got a new coach, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. They went on a huge run. I think that who's controlling the locker room is a big piece. I think getting into the right system is another impactful piece. I don't know the difference. I know that a lot of people in Atlanta were shocked that Lloyd Pierce was fired, so I'm not saying that was even the right decision. So that might just affect the players in a negative sense. But if it's something like, take the Clippers. Doc Rivers, there was some animosity between Doc Rivers and the players and whatnot by the end of it. You saw it with Paul George. But if maybe they made a split decision during the season, if they were in a last place spot and they're like, all right, we got to get Doc out of here. We got to bring Ty Lue in. Maybe that culture changes. They want to play for that coach. There's more of a drive to win. I definitely think it can change and help them. I think the circumstance matters, though. I don't know if that's the right circumstance for Atlanta, because I know a lot of people were upset that Lloyd Pierce was fired.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a blame game. There was definitely talks between the GM getting fired or the coach, and clearly the coach got the bullet. I think they should be selling right now. That, as we talk about it, it's kind of difficult to turn around the season like that. And they got a lot of young pieces, man. I think they should be selling some of those young pieces. Maybe try to market around maybe some of the other young pieces that might take some time to develop this season. And just aim for the next season. The East is really stacked, though. You look at the Eastern Conference, the last 4 seeds from 7-10. You got the Hornets, the Raptors, the Bulls, and the Pacers. And I really don't want any of those teams to be out of the playoffs right now.
Especially not the Bulls.
Especially my Bulls. Listen, man, I'm excited to see Zach LaVine and Devin Booker in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
If we can see those guys in the playoffs, I think those are going to be some of the most exciting guys we're going to see. I definitely don't want the Knicks in there. There's nobody on that team I want to see in the playoffs. I know your guy Julius Randle is on that, but
I don't know where this even started. But so that actually brings to my next question. Jumping on your segment here, Steve Ash. What about the Knicks? Do you think the Knicks should be buying at this point? Like, they're at a 5 spot. I think, I don't want to say guaranteed, because we're seeing like there's only a couple wins that differentiate between 3 and like 10. Do you think that maybe the Knicks should go out and get another piece to help their supporting cast out?
I didn't look at them when I was trying to come up with some teams, because I think they're one of those teams that they're doing better than they were expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
You look at the 1 to the 6. You look at there's the Sixers, there's the Nets, Bucks, Celtics, and Knicks, and the Heat. I think 5 of those names were expected to be there. And you look at the Knicks, I don't think they should be even doing anything right now. Just stick it through. Whatever you got this season is a success.
Fair.
And next season, you start looking at pieces. You start seeing, okay, we had it at 4th. Let's see where we can go. I think that was a position that the Pacers have been in for the past few years. That 4th seed, they were always hovering around that. And they try to make some pieces. They got Brogdon. And they try to match them up with Oladipo, but they never got that piece to be able to push past it and make it through the playoffs.
One thing that's really, boding well for the Knicks this season is that I think people are starting to take the New York Knicks a lot more seriously than they have for the past, let's call it, 10 years. The mecca of basketball has been an absolute joke. No one's taking the Knicks seriously. Like, think about the past couple free agencies. Oh, LeBron's going to the Knicks, or he's going to Lakers. Goes to Lakers. KD is going to the Knicks. He's going to the Knicks. Kyrie's going to the Knicks. They're teaming up in New York. They go to Brooklyn. Like, AD, Zion, like, all these guys are rumored to go to the Knicks. And, I know Zion was a draft pick, but, like, the Knicks are a joke. The organization is a joke with James Dolan at the helm. No one wants to go there. But I think now them being a bit competitive, James Dolan has taken a huge step back. You haven't heard anything about him. Maybe it's because there's no fans in the stands, so he can't harass anything. But, it'd be interesting if now a player that wants out, maybe if there's a team that has not been doing well for a long time, maybe a Karl Anthony Towns says, I want the hell out of Minnesota. A big name player is like, let me go to the Knicks, because now they're actually respectable. And who wouldn't want to play for the New York Knicks? Like, that's a huge franchise, to win with them. Think about Carmelo. Think about how much like respect Carmelo Anthony had while playing for the New York Knicks. When you win, you're a king. When you lose, you're a coward. But playing for the Knicks would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Karl Anthony Towns was born or grew up in Jersey.
Hey,
So Dad mentioned that. I think that's a pretty good guess, but that narrative of winning in New York would do so much for your career. That's what everybody said for KD and Kyrie when they were rumoring that they were going to go to the Knicks. And KD later came out and said, dude, I wasn't even looking at that team.
Yeah.
So I do agree that them winning right now and James Dolan not being in the front of the media and everything else, I think that's definitely helping them. But it's unlikely for me to see anybody going there over the LA teams right now, or even Nets.
The biggest acquisition that I think the New Yorks can make that will completely revolutionize their organization, and one of you guys is not going to like this, is if they were able to sign Masai Ujiri. If they were, because Masai Ujiri still hasn't signed with the Raptors. He still doesn't have a contract after this year. A lot of people talk about him going back to Africa. He does a lot of work with NBA Africa. I think he wants to get more into politics. So there's been talks about him going to Washington. I think Washington offered him a contract a couple of years ago. I think, and it's not like he needs anything to do anything else to prove himself, but because he's obviously turned around a Toronto franchise. Think about what he did for Denver before he left there. If he goes to the Knicks and is able to like transform that franchise, James Dolan's not even talking. Masai Ujiri is going to be the guy, so you're not even worried about that. Oh man, and like people want to play for Masai because of how well respected he is in the league. Like that would be nuts, dude. That would be the best transaction they ever made in their franchise history.
I think that rumor has been going around for at least a few years now, and it is probably more likely now with him not signing a contract. Because if you could trade Masai Ujiri, what would you want back? What would you want back if you could trade Masai Ujiri?
Trading executives.
Yeah. Well, would they trade a coach? They traded Doc Rivers.
Actually, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, like I've been hearing like this rumor like for so long now that it's just like, you know what, if it happens, it happens. If Masai moves on, then you know what, all the best to Masai because he did so many great things for the Raptors franchise. Never did us dirty, never did anything like that. I mean, some people might say, he did DeRozan like a little more. I know. Yeah, did him a little dirty like that, telling him, we ain't gonna trade you.
Yeah.
Later, you're gone. But he always had the franchise's best interest at heart.
For sure.
So if he goes, it'll be sad, and it is what it is at that point.
If I'm the Knicks, I'm giving them Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, everybody, bro. Give me that guy right there.
Just take him.
Just take.
I don't care about this roster.
Masai,
I want Masai now.
It's just Masai on the court.
But you know what? You know what's beneficial with it being the Knicks? Like they've got a lot of money to throw around. They can obviously pay Masai, but they can also, pay the Raptors as well. Doing that trade with an actual, financial transaction, they could move money and picks or players if they so choose. But yeah, I think that'd be interesting for sure.
Pay him in Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bitcoin stocks. Cool. Do you have any other teams for your buying or selling, or is this a segment? Is this a segment that's going to continuing to come?
We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe somebody will get surprised here. Maybe one day I'll just say, "Hey guys."
Because I have a
Welcome
team.
back.
I have a team, so I'll slide in your DMs and let you know the team.
Okay.
Oh, well, don't just text me. You don't have to slide in DMs. Do you want to wait? Do you want to do it now? I think that would be
sure.
We might as well.
Sure. Okay. My favorite team this year. You guys know who I'm rocking with out of the East side, the Charlotte Hornets. What should they be doing? Should they be buying? Should they be selling? Right now they sit at a 7 seed. What's your thoughts?
I think they should stay put. Same thing.
Okay.
These are teams. The teams you're naming, in my opinion, personally, are teams that
have a future.
We definitely looked at them. Yeah, they're building for future, and we looked at them before the season as probably not making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the fact that they're in the playoffs, I think, is already a success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, I think maybe like they could try to buy, but I think that would be rushing. Right now, they should just walk out with the pieces they have. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2014 with Kemba.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're in it, I think, is a win. And Michael Jordan came out a few days ago and said LaMelo has exceeded their expectations.
Yeah.
So I think as is, man, just rock it out, see what happens. If you want to just take some pieces in, if you have an extra piece just sitting around, like a Devontae Graham, who I haven't seen talked about a lot, and I don't see him putting up big numbers like he did last season. Or somebody like what's the power forward?
PJ Washington.
Yes, sir. Is he doing good right now?
Yeah, he's doing good. I like him. If I was the Charlotte Hornets, I would be looking to move, like you said, one of those guards, whether it's a Terry or it's a Devontae Graham. I'd be looking to get a center for the future, in my opinion. They don't really have a big. They have PJ Washington who plays the power, but they don't really have like a center. I think they have former Toronto Raptor Biyombo there. But they need. I would like to see maybe them get some youth at the 5 as well. That'd be nice. But yeah.
We should bring a segment into this. Talked about how LeBron made some guys' career.
Yeah, seriously. In a negative way or in a positive way?
Both. Yeah. Like, I mean, this guy out-rebounded LeBron in the series like by 17 rebounds, and then he got like a $70 million contract the next season. And how, like, the same season, Timothy Mozgov, he got like a contract from the Lakers the season after because LeBron took him to the finals, and he made him look like a Shaquille O'Neal, bro.
Yep.
We gotta talk about that. How some players like careers are made by LeBron.
For sure.
The greatest player of all time.
That's your opinion. So let's get into Tobe.
Trying to get this guy to get pissed.
Let's get in. Oh, I don't get pissed. Let's get into Tobe's picks for the week. Last week I went 3 for 3. Let's try to do it again. So we sort of have a short week again. This week there's no games Monday, Tuesday. Just Wednesday through Sunday. So I've got a couple picks here for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On the 11th, the Thursday, the Clippers are playing the Warriors. I'm going with my team, the Los Angeles Clippers. On March 12th, my birthday, I am going with the Utah Jazz over the Houston Rockets again. Same narrative. Houston Rockets haven't won a game without Christian Wood. Now Boogie, I don't know if Boogie's out. Like, have they dropped him, or is that just a rumor?
No, he's been they parted ways.
Okay. I thought so. I couldn't remember.
I just haven't seen him sign a deal, which I guess I've been missing some things. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where he ends up going. And then on the 13th, on the Saturday, I have my other squad, the Charlotte Hornets, over the Toronto Raptors.
Jeez.
You did not pick the Mavericks versus the Nuggets on Saturday?
That scares me, bro. I don't like that matchup. I don't like that matchup, dude. Because I looked at it for such a long time, and I'm like, first thought, I said Mavs. And then I was thinking, I don't know, Jokic just came back from the All-Star. Maybe he's like on fire. Maybe he's feeling it. You know, Jamal maybe is a little rattled. He didn't make it. I don't know. It's a toss-up. Those are two good teams that I kind of compare very similar.
So you didn't place any bets on those teams? No picks on that game? No,
I didn't. Hey, I don't like going.
How about
Tobias, man? Start betting with your chest, man.
Oh, I did. This Hornets and Raptors ones is kind of a toss-up.
It's barely.
So you think the Hornets are going to easily win?
No, Raptors are going to.
Okay, so then I'm betting with my chest, the Charlotte Hornets.
You're not really betting with your chest.
Hey, Chris, I haven't seen you lay down any money. I haven't seen you lay down any money, bro. Let's go. Where are your picks? Where are your picks?
I'm not a betting man. I'm not a betting man.
I'll give you my pick.
This is Tobe's picks.
Okay. Thank you.
See, that's the thing. If it was our picks, it would be, the 76ers Bulls. I'm taking the Bulls.
Exactly.
That would be our picks.
You're going to ride
at that point, it's no longer C of S's picks. It's watch C of S burn money.
Yep.
Free money, catch
Yeah,
it.
free money from Siavash.
One more game I wanted to talk about was Wednesday, the Celtics versus Nets. The first game, hopefully Blake Griffin is going to suit up for that game. Who do you guys think that's going to be it?
Yeah, likely. That's a runaway game. That's Nets are winning that one. Celtics need to start catching themselves here. They're gonna find themselves in a poor position for the playoffs. They still obviously think they're still gonna make the playoffs, but now it's less about dominating the East and now about holding on to a top 4 seed. They want to get that home spot in the East, so they need to start figuring their stuff out for sure.
Okay.
Well,
Also, I was gonna say, when we did our little All-Star episode, didn't we all make a pick for who's gonna win MVP?
Yes, we did.
I said Steph.
And I'm pretty sure none of us picked.
No.
There.
And Giannis, shout out to Giannis, bro. Didn't he go 16 for 16?
He made 2 threes,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is crazy. Like, this guy banked in a 3.
Yeah.
Did he call bank though? Pretty sure.
He said the bank was open. He
He's
called
so
ahead.
funny, bro. I was watching that interview.
I love that.
afterwards, that she's like, yeah, like usually the bank is closed on Sunday, but it's open for you. She's like, yeah, I called them ahead of time and I said, leave it open for me today. So it's an exclusive deal. And he's like in his Greek accent, like dying. Like, you're so jokes, bro.
I'm not laughing at the joke.
That's a terrible Greek accent. Yeah.
That's a terrible Greek accent. I was like, is this guy Russian? Is Giannis Russian?
Yeah.
I actually don't know how to
He's
talk
East European.
so that's okay. I just need to eat
Tobias
some
is
fucking
East
fish.
European.
Yeah, exactly. Eat some feta cheese and black olives. I'll be good to go.
No, dude, that game was, Giannis's personality is just so like lighthearted, man. This guy's like 26 and he's like grabbing like the award. He's like running around like screaming.
Well, he
has fun.
And he gives
fun.
it.
And that's what the All-Star game's about.
He gives it to Jokic. He's like, "You want this?" And Jokic is like, "Yeah." He takes it. And then so Giannis is like talking to some people, and he sees Jokic like walking away with it. Giannis goes up, he's like, "Give me my award." It's just so funny.
I love these European guys, man. Like even Jokic in the post game, he's just like, this is just giving me more firepower to like be able to come back next season and win this award. Like he's kind of like just playing around with these jokes. It's just funny, man.
Yeah, Jokic is just happy that he's there because he's like, how are these people still giving me money? Like I'm a plumber. I don't even know how to play basketball.
He might be wondering why he's not getting paid more for running through a team in LA.
He's a good player. He's definitely a good player. He's probably one of the premier centers in the league for sure. So he doesn't get his credit either. I think people often forget about Nikola Jokic for sure. Yeah,
I think he's probably like who would you guys, before we go, who would you guys say is a better MVP candidate right now, Jokic or Bron?
I know you said right now, but I think my decision is really going to be swayed on what LeBron James does. I know it's already kind of been happening, but on what LeBron James does for the rest of these games without Anthony Davis. If they continue to kind of hit a bit of a slide or stay somewhat stagnant, I would give the edge to Jokic. However, if Bron can be Bron of 2014 or whatever, and really kind of put the whole squad on his back and just run through everybody, it's Bron 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna ever see 2018 Bron ever again. But right now, I think Jokic has that edge. I would have liked LeBron to win, but even we talked about, I think AD has been out for the past 6-7 games at least, and I think they've gone maybe 2-5 in those games.
Yeah, you see AD's impact for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely, and just the fact that we see how incredible LeBron's run was with the Cavaliers and how that affected him when the first year he came to LA, and how that team wasn't winning as well as everybody else thought, because the way he plays with the pieces around him, and once you take one piece out, that's probably going to affect the whole team, right?
Yeah, because I feel like once you remove a piece like AD, there's no longer that threat of AD on the court, and it's like, okay, now we can turn more of our time and attention back to LeBron.
Yeah, they have a lot of money in those two players, so that means that there's less money to go around for intimidating players. Like I'm trying to think, like who else is their bigs? And you got Marc Gasol. I'm not really scared of going to the paint against Marc Gasol. And it's not like I'm scared to go into the paint against Anthony Davis. It's just Anthony Davis has a bigger presence.
Did you say you're not scared of going into the paint with Anthony Davis?
I'm just saying that there's other centers that I'd be more terrified to go in the paint against. Like,
I think there's
Joel
3 centers you should be terrified.
Okay.
Yeah, Gobert, Embiid, and AD. That's it. I don't know if there's another name. Jokic.
I would put
You should
Jokic
be
lower
scared,
than
but-
than the AD. Cat is down
But yeah,
there.
AD is scary, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't go into the paint too often. I think he's going to defer himself away even more now with the leg injury, but hopefully he comes back healthy for sure. Never want to see a player out. All right, thanks again for listening to the Lob It Up Podcast. This was the 4th episode with your hosts, Tobias, Chris, and Siavash. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and for those that don't know, now you know. Peace.